User-defined fields are fields that you can create to hold information that Denari does not already have a place for. You can use these fields as filters for reports later on. Using these fields is a two-step process. First, you must set up the field, and second, you must then populate the field in each donor's name record. For example, let's say that I'm a Red Cross organization and I need to store donors' blood types. Denari doesn't have a specific field to store blood type, but I can do that by setting up the blood type field as a user-defined field and then using that field to store the blood type for each name record. Let's start by setting up our field. We'll go to the Donors tab and then User-Defined Field Setup. Here we see a list of all the user-defined fields that someone has already set up in the training company. We'll click Add New to create a new record. The first field is called just that, Field. It's just like the description field in other records in Denari. It just tells us what this record is about, so we'll type blood type in that field. The next field is the label field, and that is the text that will sit to the left of the field that the user will see that tells them what this field is about. So we'll type blood type in that field as well. The size field really refers to the height of the field. We can have different types of fields that may require a larger field. For example, as we'll see in a minute, we can have a text box where we could type a paragraph if needed. For this field, we'll enter the number 3. That's a good size for the field we need to store the blood type. Across from that is the width field. You may need to experiment with this field. The number you enter does not represent characters, so it's not very exact. For blood type, I'm going to enter a 10 here just to give me some room. I can come back and change it later if needed. Now I will select a display order. If there's more than one user-defined field on the page, this will tell us which one will appear first on the page, which one is second, etc. I know that there are so many UDF fields in the training company that it really doesn't matter here, so I'm just going to enter a 25. And by the way, rather than having to keep saying user-defined fields, I'm going to call them UDF fields from here on out. The Allow Empty checkbox is an important one. Checking the box means that you are saying, yes, allow the field to be empty. If that box is not checked, then the user, when they come to the UDF page, will not be able to leave the page until they put something in that field. If that's what you want, then don't check the box. In our example, however, we may not know the blood type for everyone, so we want to check the box so that users aren't required to put something in that field when on that page. Include an output field refers to the output options from NameSegmenter. You'll see more on this in the session on NameSegmenter. In NameSegmenter, you have the option to output the UDF fields in an Excel output. There may be some fields that you don't want showing in an Excel spreadsheet. You may store sensitive information about your donors that you don't want to be included in a spreadsheet that can be printed and passed around. So if this box is not checked, even though you tell NameSegmenter to output the UDF fields, this one will not be included. The UDF data type field tells Denari what type of field to expect. You see the options here: character, date, integer, and memo. It's important that you choose the right one. For example, Denari will treat a date field differently than a memo field. In our case, we'll select character. That allows us to use pretty much anything in the field like letters, numbers, punctuation, dashes, and slashes, etc. The UDF control type field helps control what the users enter into the field. We see combo from display expression, the date, memo edit region, related combo box, text box with email button, true false checkbox, and wide memo. Let's discuss each one of these. In looking at the list, we see two combo box options, one that has from display expression next to it and the other that says related combo box. A combo box is a drop-down field. In fact, this field is a combo box. When you click the drop-down, there are options in the list that the user can select. This is a good field type to use when you can, because it forces every user to use the same options. It doesn't allow someone to just type what they want. but we have to create that list. And Denari is giving you two ways to do that. The first is the related combo box, and it involves setting up a table that contains the options in your list. If you choose that option, then our programmer will have to set that up for you. No one chooses that option because the other method from display expression is much easier. You'll simply jump down to the display expression field and enter the items there. So let's select that and then move down to the display expression field. And since we're entering blood types, we might enter A:, B:, O:, and O negative. Notice that the items in the list are separated by colons with no spaces. And Denari will recognize that and put those into list form by using those colons. Going back to the control type, the date field here is pretty self-explanatory. It will create a field that only allows the user to enter a date. The memo field will create a larger field to enter lots of text. You may want to adjust your size and width above to accommodate the needed size. The text box is usually a smaller option than the memo field. It holds a single row of text, and pretty much anything can go in that field when you use character as the data type. The text box with an email button will create a text box but add a little button next to it that when pushed will open your email program on your computer and allow you to create and send an email. So this field will usually hold an email address. And so you might be saying here, yeah, but Denari already has a place for email addresses, and you're right. So this field is a little redundant, but you could use it for extra emails if needed. The true-false checkbox is just that. You might use this to track whether someone has submitted a form, for example. Checking the box means yes, and not checking means no. And finally then, wide memo creates a field that spans the width of 2 columns of information on the Denari page. There are several other fields near the bottom of this page. We have related table, related reference, the combo filter, and the alternate PK. These are all used in conjunction with that related combo box option that we mentioned a second ago. Since you'll probably never use that option, you will probably never use these fields. And as I said, if you use that option, our programmer will need to set that up for you, and he'll be the one who uses these fields anyway. The last field on this page that we need to look at is the tooltip text. The tooltip appears when the user hovers their cursor over the field. Anything you put in this field might show in a little pop-up window that will provide the user with instructions about the field. So we could type something like enter the donor's blood type here. Your user will probably already have figured that out, but sometimes the tooltip can be helpful. And so now we just hit save to create our field. The second step in this process then is to populate the field. So we'll go to the Donors tab, Name List Management, and we'll select a donor off the list. And then from the main page, we're going to go to Other Pages and User Data. This gives us a blank page. We can add fields to the page in one of two ways. We can click the Add All Fields link here, which will put all of the fields, all the UDF fields that we've created on this page, or we can select a field from the list and click Add This Link. So let me select one off the list. Choose blood type, and we'll add our field. And we could choose another one, for example, and add that field, and so on. And now when I go to the blood type drop-down that we created, I see our blood type options. Now this one is actually a field that was created earlier, and so our blood types don't exactly match what we set up, but this is how it would work, and this is how it would look when you've created your field. And then we can also delete fields from this page if we wanted to. So if for some reason we don't want the blood type field, we can simply come here and select blood type and then delete this field, and that would then remove that from the page. So once you've made your changes on this page, remember to hit the save button, and you're ready to go. As mentioned earlier, you can use your UDF fields as filters for Name Segmenter, and that will allow you, as in our example, to get a list of names with a certain blood type. You can also output those fields to Excel using Name Segmenter, and you can see how to do that in the training session on Name Segmenter. This concludes this session on user-defined fields. If you have any questions, please contact our tech support office through the support button at the top of Denari.